Welcome, everybody, to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Carolyn is amazing. She's a doctor, she's a naturopath, she's an herbalist, she's an acupuncturist. She's going to tell you exactly what she would do if she were in your shoes. I can't think of a person who has devoted more time to helping people's health than Dr. Carolyn Dean. She can make a huge difference as you listen to her words of wisdom. We know she's ahead of time because she is the doctor of the future. Welcome, Dr. Carolyn Dean. Oh, here I am. Hello, Caroline.
Hi, Jenny. I almost put the same background color as you.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, what would have happened there if I had gone like this?
We'd be twinny.
Yeah.
We could be
twinny. I leave it?
Yeah. Sure. It looks beautiful. It matches your outfit.
It matches these are tattoos. Yeah.
That's great.
A sleeve of tattoos.
There you go. There you go.
This is much like what I see in Maui. People are all tatted up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a real art form here, truly.
Yes, and it's a form of self-expression, which I think is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And people want to be different and unique and be recognized and all those things. So I think it's great. Express themselves. So
yeah, but then now their desire to be different means they're all the same now.
I know that kind of gets a little quaggy, doesn't it?
They all have tattoos.
Yeah, and then that turns out the people who want to not be different are different because they don't have any. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
That's right.
Humans.
That's right. Welcome, everybody, to Dr. Carolyn Dean's podcast. We're so happy you're here with us tonight. You've probably seen Carolyn's work anywhere in this world. My gosh, she's been a leader in this industry for many years. She's on X. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. She has her own website. She has her own teaching library. She has her own incredible way and demeanor of really articulating what is required for the physical body in order to have optimal health. And I'm telling you, it is so easy peasy. And I know after years of searching and hearing so much controversial information and even contradictory information, at this point, you may be saying, really? But it's true. And Carolyn's going to break it down for you. And those of us who've been with her for all these many, many years, I'm going on my 15th year of either knowing or working with Carolyn, know that it is actually very easy. And it's wonderfully relieving to just be able to do what you need to do for your body, for your health, and then move on with your life and actually live, actually experience. Why are you taking such great care of your health? Because you want to have amazing experiences in life. And Dr. Dean is the queen of amazing experiences. And I think we're going to hear about her experiences this past week out in Arizona at the MAHA event. So take it away, Carolyn. What are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, as any good performer would do, Jenny, we're going to tease. You gave the tease, and it's just wait for it. So we got to go through our basics first, which is the library. We're still working on the missing link to total health.
Yeah.
Which is magnesium. And what makes it the true missing link and the true miracle is really the type of magnesium that came out of my personal health experience. So we have a magnesium that's a stabilized ion of the mineral. It's a magnesium ion, which you cannot get anywhere else. I just have to keep ramming that home. When you see ionic formulas, they are not a stabilized ion. A stabilized ion means when you take the liquid of our Remag magnesium, it will stay stable in the body, and that ion will jump into the cells where it's needed to work inside the mitochondria to make energy. Energy, ATP, cannot exist without magnesium attached to it. And that's not talked about in any realm. And it's not measured allopathically. People ignore it. And we are suffering magnesium deficiency symptoms right, left, and center because we don't get the magnesium we need. So I will keep repeating that. Now, what we're going to talk about today, we get to the blog before we get to the Arizona event. The blog is about insulin resistance, and that's about sugar, too much sugar. Insulin tries to get the sugar into cells to get it to work in the Krebs cycle. But if there's so much sugar that the insulin is overloaded and it keeps pushing against the cells, then the cells get resistant to the push. I guess it's pretty straightforward. But what we're missing in this whole insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, diabetes world is that insulin is also the transporter for vitamin C, ascorbic acid. So you've got these two crucial items, glucose, which is the food for the mitochondria. The fats can be food too, but you've got glucose and vitamin C. Vitamin C, crucial as an antioxidant, but I think even more so, it's a precursor of collagen, which makes up all the membranes and tendons and ligaments and skin, the intestinal lining. Everything depends on collagen. And somehow we've relegated this extremely important vitamin to 60 milligrams. I think it's 69 to 90 milligrams of vitamin C in our RDA, enough to stave off scurvy, because the clowns in nutrition research haven't looked at the fact that vitamin C is essential to making collagen, and collagen makes our structure. And what happens when collagen is not keeping our blood vessels strong is the blood vessels get a little weak and there'll be a little tear, and cholesterol comes along as a Band-Aid to heal up that tear or cover it up so that the gut won't be too leaky. So you've got these areas of the arteries that have little cholesterol Band-Aids. And then if you have too much calcium compared to magnesium, and calcium, sure, necessary. Actually, it helps in blood clotting, and it's the driver for the action potential of muscles and nerves. So it creates the action, and then magnesium relaxes. And it does that physiologically by the cell has a cell mineral ion channel through which the magnesium enters. Well, that little channel is opened and closed by magnesium. Magnesium is responsible for allowing calcium to go in, the action happens, and then magnesium pulls out the calcium. And that's how the body functions. All the nerves, 640 muscles, 45 miles of nerves, are all under this dance between calcium and magnesium. So if you have too much calcium, then you sort of bump off your magnesium. You have relatively lower magnesium. You're not going to get this proper function. And also, in those cholesterol Band-Aids, you're going to start to get calcium precipitating. And that's what creates these cholesterol atherosclerotic plaque. And when they break off, that's what will jam up arteries, little capillaries. That's what can give you a heart attack or a brain stroke. So there's more. There's more in the insulin resistance. I get not way off track. I mean, it's all very important what I'm talking about here, and it a little bit drives me crazy that diabetes now is just don't eat any sugar, don't even eat a teaspoon of sugar, watch out for fruit, don't worry about carbohydrates. Whereas if we had proper nutrient function, if we had our vitamin C and our magnesium and our chromium and our zinc and the things we have in our multiple mineral remite, then the body can function without having to be so darn strict. The body knows how to function with fruit. Seasonally, even the hunter-gatherers, they had big patches of blueberries and all the raspberries and everything that they could eat. So the body is able to function with fruit and carbohydrates. But anyway, with this, with diabetes just being brought down to don't eat any sugar so that you don't access the insulin. The insulin stays kind of dormant. Insulin, yet they've made that the bad guy, and they say insulin is just going to cause you to gain weight, because when the extra glucose has nowhere to go, it goes into fat cells. So they're saying, well, no insulin is better than any insulin. So it's another extreme position. You can read the article at drcarolyndean.com, but let me just scroll down to what I advise people to do. The medications that come about due to insulin resistance, weight gain, obesity, then we get into the Ozempic chaos that's happening right now. So I say the major cause of insulin resistance is magnesium deficiency. And this condition is a high risk for people who are overweight or obese and have the contributing lifestyle habits of a diet that's high in sugar and processed foods and low in exercise and movement. And then insulin resistance is the gateway to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, and the cells in the body are fueled and nourished by glucose, etc., etc. And then I talk in the article about insulin and vitamin C. So what do? Stop eating processed sugar or added sugars, they would say. I think fruit, I cut back on fruit myself because of my yeast overgrowth. And I do recommend only a couple of pieces of fruit a day. I know when I eat a lot of fruit or when I eat desserts, I'll get my yeast symptoms back, which are a lot of mucus. I'll start to get my nasal boils, because when you have a yeast overgrowth environment, viruses and bacteria and parasites will thrive. And that's why we're saying we have to control the amount of yeast in the body. So you're doing your diet, you're taking your picometer, stabilized ion, magnesium, and you're doing your vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and everybody should be on our liquid magnesium because it is so effective, so well absorbed. We've proven that in university studies. And then if you have questions, call our customer service. I think I'll leave it at that. I kind of sidebarred into the vitamin C connection, Ginny. So back to you.
Well, I've listened to you speak for a long time, many years. And when you get in a flow like that, I think, okay, there's a book. I think you need to write a vitamin C book.
Mm.
I know you are the queen of magnesium, but anybody on the chat that would like to hear Dr. Dean really lay out the vitamin C story in a very comprehensive way, and also point to the different degrees of dosing of vitamin C, because you have those therapeutic levels that are really for people who have very severe situations, and then you have regular, and you're already talking about 60 not being enough and that kind of thing. So everybody's already saying yes, please. So maybe in 2026, I know Carolyn has a 3-book series out right now that she's working on, and the first one is almost ready to go. We'll be talking about that. But Carolyn, honestly, I think vitamin C is your next calling. It's really, really stunning how you lay it out, and how confident you are in the importance of it. And just to hear you speak about the role of collagen in the body is also very important for people to understand.
Right. And what's the name of our first new book in the new series?
It's called Exposing Sugar Toxicity, a Clinical Perspective. So this is just as much for medical professionals and healthcare practitioners as it is, of course, for our super sophisticated audience that's very knowledgeable. I mean, people are so on top of their game right now when it comes to health after the last couple of years. So it'll be very easy for our regular audience to read, but it's also going to be fantastic because a lot of clinical support. There are over 100 clinical references in the book.
Very good. That's fun. Okay, so drum roll.
Okay.
Excellent. In this segment, we talk about MAHA, what it's accomplishing, how our work with New Capstone RNA Reset, how we are meeting all the goals of MAHA. So I think the past several weeks, I've mentioned that I was invited to Arizona to be on a panel at a fundraiser for a charitable organization called the Vital Choice Project. So I went there, and it was wonderful. Great people, great event, raised a lot of money. But thank goodness I have this podcast to come home to, where I can download all the information I couldn't say at the MAHA event. And it is an outcropping of MAHA, that's for sure. But it is this a charitable organization. It's the brainchild of Garrett. Oh, good grief. What's Garrett's last name, Ginny?
Pagel? Pagel?
Yeah, Pagel. He's a 22-year-old who worked with Charlie Kirk at Turning Point, USA. And apparently, Garrett was always complaining about allopathic medicine. And finally, Charlie told him to do something about it. Garrett had had a terrible dog mauling when he was 6 or 8 years old, tore off half of his face, and he's having just, like a dozen surgeries. I mean, there's no marks on him at all. It is amazing what surgery can do. So he went through that, but then in 2020, he developed ulcerative colitis and had just a horror show trying to get treatment. He finally cured himself with 30 days of cabbage juice. And cabbage juice, yeah, we know it for stomach ulcers, but he used it for his ulcerative colitis. But he also needs our Flora Revive and Pico Silver, I'm sure. But we'll get to that. So this charity, this is his idea. It's set up to support pre-med students to learn about lifestyle and nutrition before they go into medicine and get brainwashed. And it's a total worthy cause. At first, I thought it was to go to medical schools and try to influence and support med students. And that would be impossible because the workload is it's horrific. But a pre-med student, boom, that's where you educate them. So, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, we've done the magnesium module, the yeast overgrowth module for knowyourwellness.org, online accredited naturopathic college. We've also done a product overview with them, so that can fit right in. So I'll be talking to Garrett about all that. So then let me analyze. Okay, here's something. I always analyze my experiences through total biology, German new medicine. When I got invited and was told that Mike Tyson was a sponsor and would be there, and for that, I thought, oh gosh, that's going to be a huge event, television cameras and everything. I developed a sore left foot. So what does that mean? Was I afraid to take the next step because it could expose me and my work and my company and my formulas and potentially put a gun to my head? I mean, I've been in and out of this. Here's something just hit my brain. When I was in Canada and I was asked to do the Deanie Petty show back in 1990, I think it was, I talked about sugar and it was a Christmas show. So there were a lot of young children, kids, school kids in the audience. And I had my props. I made them up. I knew what I wanted to say. And I spooned out 10 teaspoons of sugar. And I said, that's what you get in a can of soda. And I spooned out 20 teaspoons of sugar. And I said, that's in a milkshake. And they exposed the audience going, ah! And then I had a big moment because a sugar lobby group in Canada went to my licensing board and said I was saying bad things about sugar back in 1990. They were already, they've been always attacking people who attacked sugar. It was the sugar group that attacked the saturated fat research, where they were showing scientifically that sugar was detrimental to the heart and not saturated fats. And the sugar groups, sugar industry got together and attacked saturated fat, put that down, made that the cause of heart disease, made us eat margarine for years, made us stop eating egg yolks, for Pete's sakes. How many people still eat egg whites when we know that eggs are the best protein ever? Right. So this sugar lobby group came after me because I went public. And then when I was in New York doing AIDS and chronic fatigue research, I wrote an encyclopedia for a little health publisher, Keats Publishing, and somehow started to get invited on local TV in New York. And I was on The View about a dozen times. I was a regular. And that stopped when direct-to-consumer advertising came on TV. They didn't want to have people saying good things about diet, nutrition, and nutrients, and maybe bad things about their drugs. And the other thing about the New York experience, I was doing the AIDS research, and that was when our beloved, tongue-in-cheek, Anthony Fauci was telling all the people in our study, oh, don't do anything alternative. It could mess you up. Wait for our drug that's just about to launch. And that was AZT. Mm-hmm. So most of our study people went over to AZT and they all died. And Fauci did the same thing around COVID. Yeah. Don't do anything. Go home when you get really bad. Come back to the hospital. We'll intubate you, put you on a respirator, give you remdesivir, and we know the outcome of that for many people. So my foot was sore because if I'm now, I don't think there was any backlash in New York because yeah, I don't know why, but I had that experience in the media. And now I've been laying low the past 17, 18 years here in Maui. I only started being exposed the past year because I just saw everybody around me being so sick and so spiked up that I decided to go public, have monthly lectures here, which have been awesome. So it was interesting going there to see what happened. Now, luckily, it wasn't televised, and it turns out the young people who are in charge don't do much social media, so not much of it is on social media yet. But we can still use the fact that I was at this important event because it's crucial that these young people learn about nutrition and learn about our formulas. So the way it started was I was supposed to be on a 1-hour panel with several other doctors, etc. But because more people wanted to pile on, it became 2 30-minute panels. So instead of each of the 4 doctors that I was on with 3 other doctors giving an overview of their work, we just answered questions from the 3 pre-med students, Courtney, Melody, and Jonathan. And they're starting chapters of the Vital Choice Project in their universities. And the other doctors, there was a Dr. John Richardson. His center focuses on Laetrile. His father worked with Laetrile. That's B17 made from apricot seeds, and he's having great results and has been for decades on cancer treatments. And Dr. Joel Gator Warsh, he's a board-certified pediatrician in Los Angeles. He grew up in Toronto. I didn't know, didn't read that bio before I met him. And he has a book, the vaccine book, Making the Right Decision for Your Child. He wrote it in 2011, updated it 2023. And he said that, people are much more receptive to questioning vaccines now than 10 years ago. And then there's Dr. John Robinson from the Hormone Zone. He's in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I had this panel. He's a naturopath who, in the limited seconds we had to speak, he told the audience that my book on magnesium changed the way he practices medicine. So we're going to have to reach out to him, Jenny. And then there was Mike Tyson. And that was really sweet. Now, the thing about he's not wandering around in the group. They keep him in the back room, and then people are invited to come in and meet him. And I was going with a beautiful necklace I showed last week. And I went in, I approached him, I told them people in Maui love him, and they wanted to gift him this, and it didn't fit. So I took it back and I said, I'll send it back. And he asked me what the stones meant. And of course, I didn't know what coral, turquoise, and pearls meant. So I'll have to get the jeweler to write that up and send it to him when we send it back. But that was kind of fun. And then he was sitting down on a couch and I was standing up. And then he launched his big hand at me. And so I shook his hand, and that was it. And as I was turning away, one of his people said, "That was very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much." So that was very sweet. I had my audience with Mike Tyson. But what I didn't get to say was that I wanted a Maya focus, make America young again. I didn't get to mention Death by Modern Medicine, which I wrote in 2005. And now 20 years later, we're exposing all that. I didn't get to mention the Codex Alimentarius regulations that are still in effect and need to be blocked, like Bobby Kennedy blocked the WHO international health regulations, which is what they were setting up, the WHO was setting up for the next pandemic, that they were going to lock down the whole world. So that got blocked. I didn't really get to talk about allopathic medicine. They'll look at the minutia, and they think they're on top of everything. They're looking at the minutia. Right now, they are looking at mitochondria, but never mention magnesium. And alternative medicine, maybe it's just the feed I'm getting because I'm looking at a lot of diets. Alternative medicine is looking at, well, is it vegan or carnivore that we should be focusing on? And both sides have some cures, and they're very positive about what they're talking about, but they take great pains to make you feel like it's all about diet and you don't need supplements. If they talk about supplements, if they even mention magnesium, they'll say, but it has a laxative effect. So the doctors in research never learned about nutrients in their medical school training. And a lot of the people who are talking about diet, they don't get any training. They just pick up what they're reading and hearing online. So everybody's missing the nutrient aspect, and that means you really have to be reading this book to understand that magnesium is the basis of our poor health. And then I didn't get to talk about information overload, and like I was saying, the extremes of advice on diet, and I didn't get to talk about treating President Trump's venous insufficiency with vitamin C and REMAG, or suggesting that Bobby Kennedy take REMAG, magnesium for his dysphonia. I did say we needed to support organic farming and not just take red and blue dyes out of our cereal. And I was happy to see that last week when Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, she said that we have to start supporting, I don't know if she said organic farms or just local farms. You have to support organic farming because what's happening is our farm is subject to the same strict documentation. Every carrot we pick, apparently we have to count it and put that in some document and keep statistics. People have to hire whole teams of these counters, body count. Anyway, they have to hire whole teams like we had to with our company to meet the regulations that are thrust on us. And when a question was asked about cancer, the doctor who does the Laetrile, what's this? I'm getting Robinson and Robertson mixed up. He talked about Laetrile. I talked about adding German New Medicine and Total Biology, and a lot of people came up to me after and said, Richardson. It's the Richardson Nutritional Center that does the Laetrile. People came up to me and said they appreciated me putting German New Medicine on the table. And I met a lot of people, some fun people I'll follow up with. And Nan was there. Nan made it. She lives in Mesa. That's, I think, a half an hour away. And she's probably on the chat right now. So we met at the beginning and had a talk. And then at the end, we talked some more and she took pictures. So, well, Ginny, you'll have to grab those pictures. And she took videos of the panel I was on. So you get after Nan. So that was my experience. And I expect that my foot's going to be better tomorrow because I survived Arizona. And it was funny when I was at the end and I said something to Garrett about how I really wanted to support what he was doing because I thought it was righteous. And he said, oh, well, will you come to universities with us and talk to the students? And I said, I said, Garrett, I'm 76. I'm not going to be running around and college students. And I took him back. I took him aback. He went, oh my gosh. And he tried to say, I don't know, you don't look. And I just walk over people who say that. I act like, oh, it's just natural. It's natural to be young again. Make America young again. So what do you think, Jenny?
Well, I think that is amazing. And there could have been 4,000 stages with 18,000 microphones, and you would have never been able to say the full counsel of your wisdom, because you know so much and you do have a lot to say. And I'm glad we do have this podcast, because we get to continue to blast it out.
Yeah.
And it's a great place, though, like you say, it's a foundational start to doing something that's been so important to you, that you've railed against for so many years, which is that doctors don't learn about nutrition. Well, if enough young people get exposed to the ideas of nutrition before they ever even start medical school, they'll start demanding more and more content.
Yeah.
Just like you did. I mean, you made yourself a naturopath. You insisted for yourself that you were going to understand nature and natural strategies, as well as allopathic or allopathetic, as you say, solutions as well. So I'm very happy you went. Now, I've seen you in action, and I think you could very easily be on college campuses all over this country saying all kinds of stuff. So you have to tell him, say, look, you have to put me in a region in a concentrated period of time and give me this much, and you can make that work, because I've seen you in action, boy. There's no stopping you if you want to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. There's always Zoom.
There's always Zoom. That's right. Zoom me in, Scotty. Zoom me in.
Now, how far? Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. I thought the whole show would be about MAHA, but tell me, are there any questions that
well, first of all, there's tons of questions that aren't necessarily related to this, but I do want to show 2 of the videos that we clipped off of Instagram, just so people can get a feeling for the event, if you don't mind.
That'd be fun.
Okay, now this, Carolyn, is a picture with you and Tito, I believe, right?
Now he's a Tito Chavez MMA fighter. He was very sweet. And they knocked his head off there, but he looks like The Rock, Ginny.
Okay.
Looks like The Rock. Very sweet man. And beside me is Jill McGowan. She's a fundraiser. She's to live here in Maui. I met her down on the beach walk. We both like the same cats. She knew Rusty, and then she fell in love with Lily. Yeah. So I send her pictures of Lily. And when she was with Bobby Kennedy's, whatever they call it, his political move for president. And then when he got attached to Trump for the health aspect, she moved with him to MAHA. And then she got involved with these young people, because we both see how vibrant it is in with this group. And the one beside Jill is Troy Casey. He calls himself the health nut, and he is. So, but he was on the other panel with Tito and Mike and Troy. They sort of spun off. I think they were going to have all of us in one panel, but it was just too ridiculous. Okay, so that's that one.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
Oh, wow.
time to create healers and not dealers. I'm Jonathan Jarecki, and I'm a pre-med student at Davidson College. This fall, I'm starting the Vital Choice Project chapter on campus to educate our future doctors and healthcare workers on how to prevent disease and not rely on the pharmaceutical industry. Myself and 2 other students had the amazing opportunity to fly out to Arizona for the fundraiser, and we got to hear from some incredible voices. To start off, the panel of doctors included Dr. John Richardson, Dr. Joel Gator, Dr. John Robinson, and Dr. Carolyn Dean. We each then had the opportunity to ask them a question. That followed up with a panel of Mike Tyson, Troy Casey, and Tito Ortiz. The event was truly awesome and inspiring. It's going to take a fight, but myself and everyone here are truly on a mission to make America healthy again.
How great is that? That's Jonathan. Yes, yes. Now, Carolyn, he's 30 minutes away from us.
Oh my, grab him.
Oh, I have. I've already messaged him on Instagram. I'm like, dude, you're coming to the warehouse. You're going to get a tour. You're going to learn a lot. I'm going to load him up with the books. I mean, he will be everything. So I just couldn't believe when he said, I'm Jonathan. I'm from Davidson College. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just right here. So that's so exciting. So it looks like you had such a great time.
Oh yeah. All good, great people. And, there's someone called Crisco Kid.
Okay.
He's I guess he's in the rap community, but he was our announcer. And he's setting the stage and calling people to sit down. And he sees me in the front row with the speakers, and he comes over and he says, I'm taking your magnesium. It's awesome. Well, I was getting that all night. So at the end, Crisco and I, we talked and did selfies, but I think he does a podcast. So we have to reach him and do his podcast, but he's all over the place. And what else was, the students are awesome. And it looks like Jonathan is all over social media. I mean, he put out that collage. I don't know if he got it himself, but they had a very famous photographer there, David John, Jon. He's shot everybody. And Jill, my friend Jill McGowan, she knows David John, so she invited him to photograph everything. And what he does is collages, and he works with companies or charities to help, create their message. So he'll be doing that with his pictures. But I think he got me shaking hands with Tyson because it was in a back room, and, there weren't a lot of people with their iPhones. So, we'll have to get in touch with David John as well. Yeah, it was cool. It's about relationships and bonding with people and having this common cause and trying to promote it in as big a way as we can. So I love the fact that it was Jonathan that produced that collage. That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, you've been on the leading edge of creation, and now you're on the leading edge of education. And I think it's pretty appropriate and wonderful. So we have some people here who have some questions for you. Again, not related, but did you want to do testimonials and then we'll do the questions? Or you want to take the questions?
Let's take questions because people have been sitting patiently waiting for answers.
Okay. Arlene wants to know, can you take Remag and Remite if you are diagnosed with stage 3 chronic kidney disease? I would like to hear Dr. Dean's response.
Right. Because of the way kidneys regulate magnesium, because kidneys, when they're damaged, supposedly they don't clear magnesium as they should, and they say magnesium builds up in the body, and they're talking about magnesium compounds. What we know about Remag is it's a stabilized ion. It's going to work in the cells, and if you're overloaded, it will usually just give you a bit of a laxative effect, and then you don't take as much, except it can take a year to build up an overload of magnesium. So what I did in the Magnesium Miracle book, I wrote a whole section about kidneys And we had one of our customers who's on dialysis do before and after magnesium blood tests to show her doctors that she was actually being depleted of magnesium when she had her dialysis. And then for the symptoms of the magnesium deficiency, which she said all the people in the dialysis suite are suffering, twitches and tics and high blood pressure and even seizures because they are magnesium deficient. And she takes her Remag, and her levels stay balanced when she does her dialysis. She doesn't lose her magnesium. She replaces it. And I've talked to nephrologists, and they say, yeah, sometimes we have to put people on IV magnesium because they lose so much during dialysis. So wouldn't it be useful just to take your Remag? So, I can't tell this person what to do, but maybe just to call customer service, get that kidney section clipped and sent to her, and then she can make up her own mind. Maybe she can ask her doctors to do some before and after blood tests, but they're going to be using the wrong magnesium blood test. It's going to be a serum magnesium, which really doesn't give you a good idea at all about the magnesium ions.
Right.
I know I haven't given a clear answer, but just more research is necessary for an individual who's trying to decide what to do, whether to go against their doctor's advice not to take magnesium, or to know that what we're working with Remag is like the magnesium you're supposed to be getting in your food.
That's right. You would not eat a Brazil nut because you were on kidney dialysis. So, and that's heavy in magnesium. Also, the clinical study is on our website, and your customer service support staff will help you find that. So you can present the chapter, which Dr. Dean is referring to. Customer service has that all ready to go, and the clinical research, and you can give it to your doctor and you can work with them to make your decision, as Carolyn said. Okay, very good. Next question is coming from Donna, and she's saying, do your formulations help with relieving nerve pain, help with pinched nerves in the back, in the neck that radiate down my arms, since it relaxes muscles?
So what's the last three words?
Since it relaxes muscles. If it does that for muscles, would it do that for nerves?
It does it for nerves. I don't know if I described it properly, but the cells that are activated by the calcium are nerve cells and muscle cells. Now, muscles sometimes can be so tight that they'll pinch a nerve. So we don't know what's going on with the nerves. A lot of the nerve symptoms of magnesium deficiency are peripheral neuropathy that diabetics have. So, what we would work with there is probably our Remag balm to spread on the areas of pain. Well, you could call customer service and see if in our customer service experience, what we've done to suggest the use of our formulas in your case. But we've had people, you're not saying anything about MS, but I'm just going to say there are people who've been told, oh, you have MS with your nerve tingling and twitching and problems. And it turns out that when they get Remag going, that their symptoms go away. So anything to do with nerves and muscles, we first think of magnesium deficiency. Of course, there's anatomical stuff. We tell people to look at massage or chiropractic or something called the EGOSCU, EGOSCUE tower. What you're lying on your back with your feet 45 degrees in the air, and then you bring them down every 10 minutes. And that does a passive stretch of the low back, kind of stretching out your legs and your sciatic. So enough words. Back to you, Ginny.
Next question is from Linda. My daughter is 34 weeks pregnant. Congratulations. And has high blood pressure. And they want to start giving her meds, of course. I told her to buy your magnesium lotion and Remag, so she ordered it today. Can you help her dosing, please?
I think I'd leave it to customer service. I don't want to pretend on a radio show that I can give medical advice. Customer service does not give medical advice either. They'll tell a person, well, start with a 1/4 teaspoon in your drinking water, drink it through the day, go up by a 1/4 teaspoon every day. And it can work so well in pregnancy, not just for the blood pressure, but often there's constipation that's going on as well. And what magnesium does, our magnesium, it helps the proper peristaltic action of the intestines to relieve constipation. It's not acting like a flushing laxative. It's just making the body work as it should. And it works on 80% of known metabolic functions. So it's going to be helping on every level for your daughter. So I'm glad she purchased it.
Very good. Absolutely. We have lots of magnesium babies, Remag babies, and they always come out so perfect and their skin is impeccable. And you see the moms and their feet aren't all swollen and tore up. So, for sure, she's on the right track and customer service will help. Our very good Pat wants to know, how long does it take to get rid of visceral fat by fasting? Or is it not dangerous to really have visceral fat?
Well, visceral fat, I guess, meaning just fat that is probably developed by stress, cortisols, or insulin resistance, where this extra fat goes and stores itself for a rainy day. And I have no idea how long it takes. I mean, I've been working on my extra COVID 5 pounds for a long time. And I think, what was the best thing for me was just doing carnivore for a couple of days. And before that, it was intermittent fasting. So what I've come to is 2 meals a day. I start usually in the morning. I'll do my psyllium seed powder, tablespoon of psyllium seed, because if you're not eating a lot of bulk, then you don't create enough bulk to have good, strong bowel movements. And also, if you're eating carnivore, I do not think you're getting the fiber that you need. And fiber is the food for intestinal bacteria. So I have no idea how long it takes. For me, I can lose 2 or 3 pounds in 4 or 5 days with a carnivore diet.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, Pat. I've seen pictures of Pat on Instagram with his beautiful dogs, and I don't know where that visceral fat would actually be. So we have to think about that. My brother told me the other day he was going to weigh 145. And I said, when is the last time you weighed 145? And he said, when I was in high school. And I said, you weren't even a man then. You're not going to weigh 145. Stop that nonsense. People are obsessed with weight loss that aren't even really in any kind of a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's important to have some subcutaneous fat underneath your skin.
Right.
Carolyn? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Good point. My ideal weight, according to height, the way weight is, it's 100 pounds for 5 feet and 5 pounds for every inch. So my ideal weight is 107, but I allow myself 5 pounds for the extra fat you need to make your hormones.
Right.
If you don't have that, or for when you get sick. So I try to stay at 112. And when I went to Arizona, Julie and I laugh at my Scottish tendencies, because I don't want to eat in restaurants. It'll all be whatever, omega-6 fat, refined vegetable oils and sugar and whatnot. So I bring my venison meat sticks and my protein powder, my restructured protein powder. And seriously, I came home at 109 pounds. Whereas when most time when people travel, they're anyway. So where were we?
Oh, that's great. That's exactly great. Okay, so we've got 3 minutes before we wrap up the show. And we've got a couple things that we have to do before we do wrap up the show. Do you have other things you want to talk about or any other statements you want to make, Carolyn?
Well, we didn't get to our testimonials.
That's
Okay. Here's some no-name person says, to Dr. Carolyn Dean's community. So she's addressing you all. Good afternoon. I had sent a question back in June of 2024. I received a response saying Dr. Carolyn couldn't advise. It was too medical, but that I should continue taking her minerals. Then she says, I want to report that my annual blood work came back yesterday and confirmed that I have no M-spike protein in my blood, exclamation. I am so thrilled. I've been faithfully taking Dr. Dean's products daily for the year. I take Remag, calcium, etc. I've also been meditating. Who's to say what healed my blood? I do think, however, that Dr. Dean's products played their part. Also, I have not had a single cold since starting her products. It's a glorious day. So that's sweet. And second testimonial, that one of our customer service people is saying, the customer had severe migraines, and to alleviate them, she began to use Remag around her eyes and temples. This helped alleviate the migraines, and she found that the magnesium was making her skin softer and her eyes feel better. She was getting ready to have cataract surgery, but since the improvement from using Remag around her eyes and being able to see well, she believes she no longer needs it, or at least can put it off for quite some time. Now, we haven't heard things like that. And those are the types of things that the FDA doesn't like us to say, but that's what's happening out there. And Ginny, before the time's up, this is what I wore at the event.
yes,
costume.
Yes, it's beautiful costume. It's beautiful. I noticed that in the picture with Tito that you were sporting this beautiful dress, and I'm glad you wore it. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And the pearls, this is coconut shell and 3 huge, wonderful pearls.
Love pearls. I'm looking at it. I'm like this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Carolyn,
you had things to say.
Well, we have to say something about Rachel's birthday, don't you think?
Ooh, did I know that? Didn't know it. Hi, Rachel. Happy birthday. Wow.
Happy birthday to our producer, Rachel, who's been with us for many years now, quite amazingly.
Thank you. Thank you.
There she is, her black R, but she's really actually quite sunny, so I don't think the black suits her. But she's fantastic. She's been quite an advocate. She's her own success story. She's changed her physiology and her physical self by using the products, and she's become a naturopath herself in the process of learning everything and taking the coursework at the knowyourwellness.org naturopathic college.
Oh, that was the birthday present, right?
Yeah. Rachel is quite a explorer and a pioneer, and she's a leader, and she's a very spiritual person, having done so many things in her life as an ordained spiritual leader. So we say happy birthday to you, Rachel. Thank you very much for your unique contribution to the show, for sure.
And what are her websites where she writes music and lyrics for songs? What is that?
Rachel, come back and tell us. What is the website you want people to go to listen to your music? Uh-oh, I don't know where she went. Well, if we can capture it, we will. We've given it out many times, but if we can't,
There it is. Reverendlove.org.
Reverendlove.org. Reverend Love.
Website.
Very good. Outstanding. And everybody's saying happy birthday, but Rachel can read that in the chat. Thank you very much. All right. So let's close out and just remind everybody that drcarolyndean.com, the Doctor of the Future, is Carolyn's website. And it is about ready to get a huge miracle makeover. We've gotten so much feedback that the search engine stinks on it, and we know that. And with the volume of encyclopedic information that's on here, we are getting ready to update it. Everybody hang in there. But in the meantime, don't keep yourself from going and perusing and learning. RNAreset.com is Dr. Dean's product website where her exclusive formulas are found. Again, a whole nother, that could be a university in and of itself. All the information that supports the products, how to use them, how to be a practitioner, a healthcare practitioner, all about the research on the products, how to make food with the products, recipes. It goes on forever. So again, click around and learn and see our certified for sport products. It's just incredible. And then of course, Pico Pets. And we welcome our very delicious and wonderful Maddie Kennedy, who's starting her very first day today to lead us at Pico Pets into the next level of enthusiasm and everything else and worldwide domination, global domination now for Pico Pets. It's time. So please, of course, go visit Pico Pets for your pets and share that information. So Carolyn, congratulations again on your landmark experience with this group. I'm sure it's just the beginning of very many great things. And Let
me just say about our certified for sports.
Yes.
If anyone knows Caitlin Clark, will you kindly get her or her coach or her trainer or her mother or her father to get in touch with us? She needs our magnesium. The girl is getting injured right, left, and center. I know she's getting beaten up, but her body is under so much tension and stress. You get hurt when you're under that much stress.
Yes.
So we want to get her our magnesium, and it's certified so that nobody can disagree with her taking it.
That's right. That's right. And we want that for any athlete, collegiate athletes. We want it for, semi-amateur, pro. We want it for your high school athletes. We want it for everybody because it's so important for them to have the proper mineral foundation. And Brian and Steve Brian has worked on a fantastic presentation about how you can actually become nutrient deficient by thinking that you're getting enough protein and you don't have the minerals and everything to make, again, the collagen work, the protein work. So we're constantly educating, but we are inviting you to partner with us on this and get the word out to as many people as we can. We've really got to make an impact with these athletes. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Aloha.
Aloha.
You have been listening to Dr. Carolyn Dean.
There they go. Hello.
Become a member of drcarolyndean.com and get access to all her leading edge of creation information, as well as archives, webinars, and other valuable media resources. Join Dr. Dean and Ginny Almighty same time again next week.